Good afternoon. Welcome to the Black History Program. We're going to finally get started, and we're so glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome to the Travis County Black History Program. Today we celebrate Black history 100 years strong, honoring how we got here and the many lives impacted along the way. This celebration reminds us of our resilience, our contributions, and our faith, ensuring that our stories are remembered, respected, and never forgotten. Thank you again for being here. At this time, I'd like to recognize just a few individuals before we get started. I would like for the Black History Committee to stand. Some of them may be upstairs, but we want to ask you to stand if you're a part of or wave your hand. Be careful with these chairs. These chairs be rolling. We have warned you about the chairs, so do not file a complaint. They're dangerous, so when you get up, you hold on tight. So we want to say thank you to Sister Melanie Diggs and Janine Smith for the hard work, and the team, the committee, for all the work that you do. Because Melanie be working you hard. Thank you for the leadership. We are honored today that we have a few people here that's just going to wave. We have Ann Howard, County Commissioner. And then we have some others that will come forth. Are there any other city, state, or county representatives here that I don't see? If so, would you stand? Could you stand? Awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
President of NFPBA Central Texas Chapter, Ms. Para Iboga. City of Austin.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service.
Dion Wilmer. Oh,
He represents Commissioner Trevelyan's office, still waiting on Commissioner Trevelyan.
Don't throw my commissioner under the bus like that. We're not doing that. And I want to recognize Miss Loretta. Wave your hand. That's Miss ACC.
I want to recognize Travis County Emergency Services. Very instrumental with
And
the Sheriff's Department.
yeah.
I want to recognize Brianna McBride, my policy advisor.
And since we're recognizing, I want to recognize myself, Ola Jones. And I want to recognize Laura Pivito in the back, who is my director. Woo! Okay, anyone else?
Travis County Constable Office, Tanya Dixon.
Special friends, Miss Bowman and Miss Usury.
Yes,
Do you
Ursula.
mind if I share your age? Do you mind? No. Miss Usury is literally 93 years old. She made it here on time.
She's an amazing volunteer all over Travis County.
Amazing.
Is there anyone else just feel like they want to say who they are? Okay, so at this time, we've had our prelude by Jonathan Tate, who is the Minister of Music at Mount Olive Baptist Church here in Austin, Texas. Let's give him a hand. The program is going to go, we're going to act like we're at the Black church, okay? The program is going to go as printed. And for those that don't know what that means I'm not getting up and down. That's what that means, unless there's a correction. Everyone's got a program, so therefore I don't have to read the program. I love people that can read. Reading is a beautiful thing. So at this time, the program says that we are going to
Welcome and occasion. Welcome and occasion.
welcome and occasion. I forgot we moved that around.
Yeah, got Ross and Leslie Gaines.
Oh, okay, there you go. I love it. Love it.
Correction.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Welcome, everyone. I am joined by my co-worker, Leslie Gaines. She is the Division Director for Family Support Services. Of course, I'm Ross Stevens, Division Director for Community Services. I want to welcome everyone to our Black History Show. It is an honor and pleasure to fill in for my boss, County Executive Sanchez, who is somewhere floating around here will be here shortly. So yes, it's a privilege to be here to acknowledge the hard work of our community. I see many of our community partners here in the room that I get to interact with on an ongoing basis. So welcome to our show. Please reach out if you have any concerns. Thank you.
I would ask that you stand with me to sing the National Negro Anthem. Thank you. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Facing the rising sun, come on, you day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, at this time, we will hear from Sabrina Phillips, founder of Equity Through Art and professor of art history. And the only thing that I know about her is that she almost had a minor stroke. I had her notes. She couldnn't find them. So at this time, Miss Phillips.
Hey, you know something that I don't know. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me in the back? Yes. My name is Sabrina Phillips. I'm the founder of Equity Through Art and professor of art history at ACC. Yay, ACC, yeah. I am not actually going to talk to you about art today. In fact, I'm going to tell you a personal story, my story and my journey of how I arrived here in the US. And as you can hear, I'm not from here, so you can hear that clearly. I am a British Mauritian of Indian descent, and my story sits inside Black history. And I think that's really important to think about where our stories land within the overall story, within the overarching story. Black history is not just about one nation. It's not just about one identity.
That's right.
It's about empire and labor. It's about displacement and resistance, love and belonging. And so what happened here reverberated around the globe, including my own country and my own island of Mauritius. Does anybody know Mauritius? You do? Oh. Nobody really ever knows about it. You are all going to know a lot about it soon. I'm grateful to be able to share this story with you today. That reverberation that I'm talking about, that sort of expanded across the globe, it really shaped and impacted my own sense of belonging. And I think that what I really want to impart today is that story of belonging. My sense of belonging was formed, disrupted, and then carried through generations. And I want to show you how. My belonging is shaped by 3 different places. First of all, Mauritius. It actually looks like this. Like, this is not, it actually looks like this. It's beautiful, right? But where is this place, this beautiful place? Let me show you where. It's right here in Southeast Africa. Right here. And what's interesting about Mauritius is that it's the antipole of Austin, which means that it's the furthest you can go around the planet before you start coming back. So the fact that I landed here is magic, right? It's amazing that I'm here. The second place that forms my belonging is England. And this is my hometown, my hometown of Haywards Heath. Super random to be talking about this tiny place. And if you notice, right here in the back is the St. Francis Tower Hospital, where my parents came to work as nurses in the 1970s. So that's how they got there. And I'm first generation British. And as you can see, it's just slightly below London. And then the third place that has shaped my belonging is, of course, it's beautiful. Look at it, right? It's beautiful. I've been so proud to be living here, and I've been living here for 14 years now. Both my sons were born here, and I'm proud to be an Austinite transplant, as everybody, most people are. It's been very good to me. Austin has been very good to me, as evidenced by the fact that I'm standing here talking to you right now. But let us go back to the beginning a little bit so I can give you a super brief snapshot of this beautiful country. There was no indigenous people living on this island. No one was there. It was just a beautiful island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. But the one thing that was living there was the dodo bird. Everybody knows the dodo bird, right? But nobody knows that it was from Mauritius, right? The only place they ever existed was Mauritius, so that was there. Unfortunately, as many islands were colonized by the Dutch, who then ate all the dodos, which is why they're not there anymore. Colonized by the Dutch and then the French between 1638 and 1810, establishing a sugar plantation with labor by the enslaved East Africans. So that was the original people who were there creating this huge sugar plantation across the entire island. After the French had to go, the British had to go, okay? The British ruled from 1810 to 1968. 1968. My mother often tells me stories of how she in her little white dress, holding her flag, was celebrating independence from the British during that time, which is incredible. When slavery ended in 1938 over there, labor was then transferred to indentured workers from India. So it didn't stop, it just transferred, right? And so this is a photograph of the East African people on my island working at that time. I'm just going to let you sit with that for a minute. These people enriched our island, right, for generations to come. When you go to Mauritius now, you still see the remnants of all those plantations now still being worked on but by machines, right? The descendants of these folk are still living on the island and remain some of the poorest people there. And I want to honor their story because it's part of mine. Black history in Mauritius includes the incredible and heartbreaking story of Le Morne Mountain. Le Morne Mountain here was a refuge for the enslaved, escaped people. So they escaped their plantations, they ran away, and they made refuge, and they found a place of safety here in the mountains. And once they were there, they created homes and places for them to be. When slavery ended, as it were, the authorities came to find them. When the authorities came, they chased them up to the top of the mountain, and fearing re-enslavement, over 100 people jumped to their death off this mountain. Le Morne, meaning in French mourning or grief. It's a beautiful space to see. It's incredible to see. But the story reminds me that Black history lives within the very landscape of the island, inside the soil and the mountains. This mourning mountain. Le Morne is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site to honor their story. And I just want to zoom out so you can see the mountain here in the southernmost point of the island, right? Beautiful. And furthermore, this is the monument at the base of the mountain. Made it slightly larger for you to see here. Just beautiful. But as we know, the labor did not stop, it just transferred. So indenture, I'll read it for you because we don't see it. Indenture is a system in which people were bound by a contract to work for a set number of years, often under harsh conditions in exchange for passage, wages, or the promise of freedom at the end of the term. So when the Indian people arrived in Mauritius, it's what the British called the Great Experiment. They started it first. Who was going to work as hard? Maybe the Indians will work as hard. So they brought the Indians over to see if they could work the sugar plantations in the same way. And guess what? It worked. And so they brought more and more Indian people all around the world, which is why we have places like Haiti, which has the almost exact same Creole language in Mauritius than we have in Haiti. And we didn't know that until my parents came here and actually heard a Haitian person speaking and thought, wait, I understand what you're saying. And we actually learned that because of the same colonizers, the language developed in the same way, worlds apart across the world, which is really fascinating. So many people would sign a 5-year contract to do this work, to come to Mauritius and work. However, when the British coerced the Indian people to come, they didn't know English. They couldn't necessarily read or write in English. So oftentimes people just signed with a thumbprint. They weren't really even sure what they were signing for. And so they ended up coming to Mauritius, and many of which got stuck there, you know. They stayed over their contract. They lived and died on the plantations in many of the same harsh conditions, unable to afford passage back to India. And that's where my ancestor comes in, Valiama. Valiama came to Mauritius sometime around 1850. Sometime around there. It's hard to know, right? It's hard to know our history when we're talking about a history of displacement. But the reason we do know that is because when my grandmother passed, we were going through her things and we found a birth certificate. Here it is. This birth certificate is from 1884. And you might notice here on this side, it says who was born. This person here was born in a place called Vilbag. And in the center here, you have the parents. The parents are Tondrayan, my great ancestor, and a woman named Valiama. Now, you may not be able to see this. I'm going to put this a little closer, but it's still quite fuzzy. But Valiama, here, it says here the name and the surname or the last name. But Valiama, this woman, was not given a last name. When she arrived in Mauritius, her last name was stripped away from her, and instead it was replaced by a number. Number 366457 is my great great ancestor. And here it says that she is from the plantation Vilbag, which is where the baby was born. So that's who she is. My sister, amazingly, took that number to the Gandhi Institute in Mauritius and was able to find a photograph of my ancestor. And the reason why is because when the British brought the Indian people to the island, they took a photograph, put them all in quarantine, of course, took a photograph, gave them a number, and then sent them onto the plantation. So at the archives, we were able to take that number and find Valiama 366457. And here she is. Yeah. It was overwhelming when I saw this picture. She looks so young, right? So young, coming sometime in the 1850s, not sure, maybe she signed her thumbprint, maybe she didn't know what she was coming for. But here she is, my beautiful grandmother. Cut to, oh, wait. Let me show you this. This is the plantation, and it still exists. So this is the plantation house, Vilbag, that was on that birth certificate. So it still exists. It is still here. We were able to go visit it as well. I'm so privileged and blessed to be able to find just that snippet of my ancestry. It is not lost on me that that is unusual. Right? It is not easy to find that history when it has been taken away from you. So to have these documents and to have found that picture is not lost on me as to how incredible that really is. Cut to the 1980s. My sister, my older sister, sorry, yeah, I'm the little one. My parents, as I said, arrived in Britain in the 1970s. The British opened their doors and allowed people to come in to only work in certain jobs. And so they came in to work as nurses at that St. Francis Hospital. And I am grateful. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the massive privilege that I've had being able to grow up in a way that many others have not been able to. I am grateful. But, however, I carry the legacy of displacement, right? I'm not fully home everywhere. And I started by talking about how my sense of belonging had been disrupted. I'm not fully home everywhere. And I think that that might be something that resonates with some of you as well. For example, when I go to England, I'm told, go back home to your country, right? You've probably heard that. When I go to Mauritius, I don't speak the language. So I'm not quite home there either. And even here in Austin, it's been hard to find a community. So my belonging has been fractured. Colonization didn't just move bodies, it fractured belonging. But belonging is something that I've had to learn is not out there somewhere that I've been looking for. And I've been looking for it for the whole of my life. And I really believe that that's something that everybody is trying to do. Find that place of belonging. That's what we all want. But it's something that I have had to learn carries with me. Wherever I go, I have to take my belonging with me because I'm not going to find it because it's so fractured. I have to rebuild my belonging. It's something that you carry within you and yourself through stories like this. I belong to this story, and I belong to Black history. Sharing this story allows us to zoom out a little bit, give us a global perspective on the larger story before zooming back into the local. And I think that's super important. When I think about belonging today, I don't just see disruption, as I've been talking about. I see patterns of what we all share. Survival, continuity, kinship, across Black history, across time, and across cultures. Our global shared belonging is more important than ever before. It is imperative. It is not them versus us. It is not our story versus theirs. It is not my country versus yours. It's imperative that we reach across cultures to understand the whole story. We can find belonging in each other, right? In places and cultures that you may not even know existed, right? We don't need to be insular. We need mass global belonging. Very, very soon. We really, really need it. And that concept brought me to my own work at Equity Through Art. Equity Through Art is a belonging-based program that takes people into museums and gallery spaces to talk about belonging and issues and stories that overlap. So you can see some of these incredible folks here enjoying artwork here in Austin. Through the lens of art, we come together to look at our shared stories, our overlaps, who we are, who we were, where we're going, creating a ripple effect of belonging across Austin. We facilitate retreats, professional development, leadership planning, leadership training, curriculum writing, all through the lens of art. It is a space to sit with history and emotion without having to perform. We don't analyze art, we allow it to work on us and to rebuild our belonging. If any of that resonates with you, I invite you to connect with me about how we can make that happen for you and your team. Finally, thank you for holding this story with me. I wanted to leave you with this beautiful image again of Mauritius. And I'd like to extend an invitation. I have a home in Mauritius. If anyone would like to, come, you are most welcome. Thank you.
I think I found my next vacation spot. Grateful to be here as an ex-Travis County employee, now retiree. I just want to say I found community in Travis County, and I hope that you will too. And thank you all for allowing me to come back to sing for you today. One thing that I carry that you talked about is grace. And I think all of us have to extend it a little bit and be understanding that we are covered in grace. And I hope that this song will encourage you to understand that we should operate in grace. Amazing grace shall always be my song of praise, for it was grace that brought my liberty. I do not know just how he came to love me so. He looked beyond every one of my faults and saw my need. I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary to view the cross where Jesus died for
Now, if we was at the church on Sunday, you know we'd be opening the doors of the church by now. And if you want to know more about Jesus, but I'm at the county building. But if you want to know, you were amazing. Thank you, my sister. And thank you for that vacation opportunity. Next year, we will be there for our Black History. Yes. My father said I didn't know how to follow instructions, but I'm gonna follow them today. Mr. Trevelyan, would you come up, please, and have words? Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning. Still, this might be our last good morning. All right. So, I just want to say I am in awe with the way that Paulette does what she does.
Yes.
The singing, the expression, the reminder of who we belong to is always meaningful. But it's not just a reminder in song. Her son has been an intern in my office for 2 summers because he was raised right. Yes. Now let me tell you what I mean by that. They're on time, ready to work, willing to learn, curious about life, and making sure that his community is served. That does not happen by itself. It happens because you're raised in a community. You're raised in a church. That people take you under their wing and teach you how to be a great value to your neighborhood. I say that because we find ourselves in a time when we see some people that want to even run our country as an individual who's forgotten about the experiment of America, which was supposed to be about us, about how we treat each other, about how we work together. Now, many of us, when we started this experiment, weren't us together. And now, I don't care how much my governor says that we have all had equal opportunity, he is blind. And to suggest that everyone has been treated equally and thus needs to operate as if they have it all now is folly and foolishness. At the end of the day, though, Joseph Lowery, Reverend Joseph Lowery, reminds us. He said one of his famous statements, that is one of my favorite, is, we grew up around fresh water. What does that mean? That we took our children to church. That we, when a job became available at our workplace, we took each other up there to apply for it. And if we got it, we rode to work together, and we shared a ride, and sometimes we shared lunch. And if we didn't get back home from work, because if we were taking care of somebody's house, you get there before daylight, and you stay there until 7-ish, when all the food is when the food is cooked and the dishes are washed and the things are done. Now you get to go home. But we recognized for each other that we had to look after each other. We had to take care of each other's children. But that was fresh water. We learned to love. We learned to work in a time when the government ignored us from the standpoint of giving us resources. Even if we paid tax dollars, ignored us. So Lowery said, look, we grew up in this fresh water, and we worked so hard to get to the mainstream that when we got to the mainstream, figured out it was polluted, we couldn't find our way back to the fresh water. And sometimes I look at what's going on at the federal level and say, well, folks don't need health care. Folks don't need their SNAP benefits. Folks don't need, a good education system. We can just tear that all down. Well, at the end of the day, before we had all those systems in place, we had each other. And at the end of the day, we only get the community that we deserve when we build it together. And Black History Month reminds us of that. Lift Every Voice and Sing is one of my favorite songs, written by an NAACP president, reminding us that we have a responsibility to make sure that we are taking care of our community, taking care of our neighborhood. We judge a society, we should judge a society by the way that we treat our elders and by the way that we treat our children. We are in a poisonous space. We are in a vicious space. But what must it have felt like in 1877, after only 12 years of Reconstruction, the troops were removed from the South? And the way, and a system that was barely put into place was deconstructed. A lot of people don't know. Right after the end of the Civil War, there were 23 African American colonies here in Travis County, which were taken, all except for two, 1928. Two that weren't taken, Clarksville and Wheatville. Okay, Wheatville wasn't taken because they were the domestics for Hyde Park. Clarksville wasn't taken because they were the domestics for Windsor Park. Now people say, well, where's Wheatville? West Campus. The West Campus. So at the end of the day, what we do know is that we have the capacity to look after each other, but we have to look to the institutions that created our opportunity. We have to remember that the St. John Regular Baptist Association was founded in 1867. Yep, just a couple of years after the Civil War. Thank God it was in place before Reconstruction was ended. It's important that we recognize that we all have to do a little more. And we know this because many of us were raised. Now, what do I mean by raised? I mean, we didn't get to say, I ain't going to church this Sunday. We didn't get to say, what's that on my plate? One of my favorite stories, and I'll go to my seat because I see my judges here. I'll go to my seat. And I was in 9th grade, and I made the varsity basketball team. As my grandmother would say, I was too wet to burn. So, turns out that basketball practice was 4th period. Algebra 2 was 4th period also. I told my mother on a Thursday, I said, Mom, can't go to algebra, gotta go to basketball practice. She said, okay, babe, okay. I wondered why she did not go to church on Sunday with us. Monday morning, I walk into basketball practice, got my little shooter shirt on, and my coach said, what are you doing in here? I said, basketball practice. He said, boy, if you don't get over there to Algebra 2 post haste, I will kill you myself. Turns out that my mother had gone to his church with her sorority sister, my counselor, Exie T. Williams. And they said, look, we're so proud the baby made the team, and if you want him to come before school, fine. You want him to come after school, fine. But 4th period, he's gonna be in algebra 2. We were raised. Sometimes you have too many choices. It's important that we recognize the things that our children must learn to be successful in a hostile environment. It does not give way by itself. It gives way because you have character. It gives way because you pursue excellence. It gives way because you don't take no for an answer. Those are the things that we learned before we got to school. And those are the only things that will save our children and grandchildren as they go forward. Black history reminds us that we have been here before. This ain't new. It's just a new knucklehead doing it. So at the end of the day, what we must remember, and we've shown this, when federal tax dollars for child care went away, we didn't cry, well, we cried, but we didn't stay there. When we see the governor underfunding public education, public health, and public assistance, we're sad, but we can't stay there. But what happened is our community worked together and passed a tax rate election so that our children would have $75 million a year for child care, after-school programs, job training, and the things that will make them successful here. As my grandmama would say, and I'll leave you with this, it don't matter what they call you, it matters what you answer to.
Thank you so much for those words. And at this time, Judge Andy Brown.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I just want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for working for Travis County. Thank you for joining me and Commissioner Trevelyan and Commissioner Howard and all Travis County employees in celebrating Black History Month. It's such an important month, and I think more so this year because of what is happening nationally and statewide about efforts to really erase parts of our history. And I want you to know that Travis County stands strong. I will stand strong with Commissioner Trevelyan and Commissioner Howard to make sure that we keep honoring Black history this month and every month. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you very much. Those are great words of expressions. We receive them. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we are going to hear from Sheila Craig. Sheila is passionate, creative, innovator, advocate, and leader dedicated to promoting excellence with a strong foundation of integrity. Sheila has consistently taken on challenges and seized opportunities to advance systemic transformation while championing those in need throughout her career, a long career. So we are grateful to hear from her today. Join us, Miss Sheila.
Well, I guess I can't say good morning, right? Good afternoon. Thank you all for allowing me to be here today to share with you. I don't have a PowerPoint, but I hope I can paint some pictures for you. So I'm going to, I just want to say, listening to the two speakers, Commissioner Trevelyan and Sabrina, we didn't talk before this, but I feel there's a connection in what we have to share. So we Black people come from a rich history of inventors, artists, musicians, scientists, athletes, politicians, and everything imaginable, right? But the beauty of our achievement is never accomplished alone, ever. One of my favorite statements to hear people say was that their folks they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. And I want to say that never happens alone. In fact, I don't know how many of you all have on boots, but I know I can't pull myself up by my bootstraps, right? And I want to also say that sometimes people don't have boots and sometimes they don't have straps.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So there are always supporters and cheerleaders and encouragers and helpers and partners in efforts to help us succeed. Martin had Coretta, right? But he also had churches and communities all across America who believed in his dream and who made his dream their dream. Harriet had people who risked their lives providing safe travel to enslaved runaways because they believed in her pathway to freedom. Rosa actually had Charlotte Colvin, who was 15 years old, who refused to give up her seat on the bus before Rosa, many years before Rosa. She also had thousands of people all across America who boycotted. They boycotted buses and they chose to walk rather than experiencing humiliation. And Barack, he had Michelle. But he also had millions of people across America who said, yes, we can. And then there's me. But like many leaders, I had people who believed in the work that I have done. My dear friend said, I've been here many years. Well, I've actually been here 20 years in Austin. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. And if you believe my sister, she said it took a hurricane to get me here. But what I will say is that Austin welcomed me with open arms and didn't require me to change what I stand for and what I believe in to be here. In fact, I like to think that I changed Austin a little bit. But I would say that I have people, communities, organizations who have supported me. My work here focused on equity, racial equity, in an environment and a time when people didn't feel they could speak or say those words, kind of like now. But what we said was that people can never unhear what they've heard. Once they heard something, they might be mad about it. In fact, you almost hope they are. Because if they're a little mad about it, they're going to toss that thing around in their head and they're going to struggle with it. And it's in the struggle that we come to a place of understanding. If we stay with the struggle, I like to call that our growing edge. But I also, like I said, had people who stood with me, who supported me. And they were from many racial and ethnic backgrounds, just a bunch of different experiences. But I want to mention one person who I consider my partner and my sister, and her name is Virginia Flores. She is my partner in equity work. Virginia's ancestry takes her back to Mexico, and mine takes me to Africa, Europe, and Native America. I wish I had a picture, because then you'd understand. We trust each other with our lives. We critique each other's work. We train together, as I said. And we are a living example of what we can accomplish in unity. Sometimes we banter back and forth while we're presenting. But what we show people in that is that we actually live what we teach. And I love that part of it. The beauty of Black history that we celebrate is about knowledge and uplifting. It's not just about our achievements. It's also about our character and our strength. It's about our courage and wisdom. It's about our ability to bring people together for a common cause. This is the foundation, to me, of extraordinary achievement. These character traits, they're actually in all of us, but we make a choice whether we use them or not. And I'm gonna pause for a minute, because I think I messed up my notes. No, I didn't. They're actually right here. You're all making Black history right now, today, at this very moment. Black history was a second ago, right? You may not have your name, written in lights. It may not be in the history books. You may not be a leader or a change maker, but you can still touch, move, and inspire hope in others. You can impact people's lives through your partnership and your service. And I believe you all are doing that, especially within this organization. Because we are all making history, I wanted to just throw out a couple of people. I don't know everyone in this room. I had a wonderful opportunity to meet a few people, but I want to mention Sean Lemier. She's a passionate person around service to people and communities. She's a fierce supporter of fair access for individuals and families. She's a planner, an organizer. She's selfless. And she's a woman of integrity, a problem solver. She's also a connector of people. And then, I know you all know this person, Melanie Diggs. She's a strong advocate. She holds people accountable. But she doesn't just hold you accountable, she's gonna work with you, alongside you. And I watched that this morning as she ran back and forth, trying to make sure we all had a great experience today. She connects people with vital services. She's a champion for equity. She's relentless in her support of overall community well-being. And this is my personal favorite. She has an inner confidence and determination that puts me in awe of her. And then there are two other people. They're not African American, but they represent the same kinds of character that we all hope to have if we want to make a difference in this life, or if we want our footprint to matter. And it's Don Tran Lam. Inspires and supports others, selfless with a heart of service. Kind, patient, giving, caring. And then the other person is Sum Chan. I think you all call her Yin.
Yeah, Ying.
Ying. I wanted to pronounce her last name, but I thought maybe I won't today. Vadhupadadan? Something like that, yes. So she's a servant leader, caring, giving, self-aware, committed to the success of others. That says a lot about a leader. High integrity and leads by example. I want you all to just take a moment. I heard the commissioner reflect back on his grandmother, his mother, and other people in his life. But I want you to just take a moment to reflect back on the people whose lives you've impacted and those who you poured into, but also on the people who have poured into your life, who've impacted you. You and they are all history makers. You've touched, moved, and inspired someone. Your life and theirs are better, it's more accomplished, stronger, and more impactful as a result. No one has ever pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps. We need those people around us to help us. However, all of us have either provided help, we provided boots, maybe straps, or maybe support in pulling someone up. If you can recall the name of a person who you've poured into, hold on to that. Or someone who poured into your life. The beauty of having that kind of connectedness and partnership keeps us humble. And let me tell you, we live in a world where humility is considered weakness, but that is the greatest strength we could ever have. So I want to talk to you, because I know this is about a century of history, right? 100 years, century of Black history. I want to talk to you about an Austin woman who is truly representative of a century of Black history. I think she's got that lady beat. She, like many of us, is not well known. She did not receive the Nobel Prize. Her name is not written in the history books. She didn't march on Washington. and she did not develop a magnificent patent or invention that changed the world. She was born in 1929, the year of the Great Depression. So she's 4 years shy of a century. She was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. She is a brilliant Black woman. She'll turn 97 this year. She is a storyteller, and she's a comedian. She's the best cook this side of the Mississippi. She is a widow who raised 4 of her 6 children after her husband's death. She's a woman of integrity and grit, intelligence and wit. She climbs 16 stairs up and down at least 3 times a day. She reads medical books, and she reads her iPad daily, at least for a few hours. And she can go into your spice cabinet, and she can tell you every single spice that can address any health issue you have. Like I said, she's brilliant. She told me one time that I am the leader I'm waiting for. Don't wait for someone else to step forward to address an issue. When an issue comes to you, it's for you to deal with it. It's for you to make the difference. She trusted me at 12 to make my own decisions and to stand by them when they didn't work out. She taught me to stand for what is right, even when I'm the only one standing. She taught me to speak truth to power, to be a woman of my word, to recognize the power in me, and to forge my own path. She taught me to teach people how to treat me. That's one to think about, you all. And she taught me to be prepared to finish every relationship the same way I started it. And I'll tell you a little brief story about that. So her mother was upset one day because her dad would not clean the bathroom after he used it. And she kept telling him, but he wouldn't do it. So she called his mother, thinking maybe she can have an impact here. And she said, you know, McVeigh won't clean the bathroom, and I need him to do this. I need him to take care of this. I'm tired of cleaning. He's not a child. You know, we have 4 kids. He's not a kid. And his mother said, I'll do it. Now, her mother said, oh no, you will not. Now, I don't know the rest of the story, but knowing these women, I would imagine he eventually took care of that bathroom. But the model of that story to me was, because see, she was cleaning that bathroom when they got married. So however you start a relationship, you be prepared to finish it that way. She is an amazing woman. She also taught me that nobody is better than me. And then she would pause for a long pause, and then she'd say, and you are not better than anybody else. That's the humility part. She is my mother, my critic, my greatest supporter, and my friend. Evelyn Sturgis helped me with my bootstraps. Now, we know a lot about the present and the past, but we don't know as much about the future. But I will tell you, in my opinion, I think we have a bright future. When I look to the future, I believe that Black history's next century will be shaped by us. And so if we are not awake and alert and aware and making a difference, this is your time, because you're in it. You're making history today. but it'll also be shaped by those that come after us. Those little people, those folks that we hope to be taught well, right? Trained up well, and the ones that are coming after them. They'll be all a part of what shapes the next century. I see a bright future, especially when I look at my granddaughter. She knew I was coming here today. So she asked me, what was this event? And I told her it was a Black History event. And she said, oh, that's my favorite topic. And then she said, asked me if I needed help. So I said, well, what do you think? What would you want me to share? And she said she would want me, and I'm going to demonstrate it like she said it to me, because I want to get it right when I report back to her. She said, give me liberty or give me death. Now you got the picture of this right here. So I just kind of paused for a minute. And I thought, do I say that? She said, so I said, well, tell me about that quote. She said, well, it was Patrick Henry who said it. In his speech that he gave to the Second Virginia Convention in 1775. And she said it was a response to the conflict of British rule. So the thing about it is that Patrick needed the people. That's why he gave that speech. He needed the people to support his quest for freedom. He couldn't achieve it alone. So I asked her if she understood what that meant. She said yes. Patrick would rather die than to be in bondage. He wanted to be free to live his life by his own means and his own choices. Her words, not mine. And then she said, and I agree with him, she said, because there is nothing like freedom. That is from Imani, who is 7 years old. So as I said, if we're training them up right, they will do some marvelous things. And maybe they will right some of the things that we didn't get right. Enjoy Black History, folks.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take your seat.
Thank you all very much for having me again. I would like to ask you all to give Minister Tate a clap for being my accompaniment today. Thank you. One thing I'd like to leave as a hum along throughout the day is hope. And I hope that you will have hope, being that we were able to be together to celebrate today. I'd like to leave this last song with you. Thank you. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart.
This has simply been an amazing program. Thank each of you for what you brought today. We are better for it. At this time, we will hear from Rochelle, who will do the Chili Cook-Off Award presentation, and then we will hear from Melanie and Janine. Thank you very much.
Did she bring Sam?
Hi, everybody. Rochelle was unable to attend. She had a meeting, and everyone who had a meeting at 11 a.m., I've told them already, y'all need to be at the Black History Program. I sent flyers out early enough for us to reschedule. We rescheduled during the ice and the snow, and I expect you to reschedule during our Black History Program. Why? Why do I expect you to reschedule? This is our history, not only Black history. We need to celebrate every culture at Travis County Health and Human Services. It's important. I've been here 29 years where we didn't celebrate anything. This is our 26th annual Black History Program. I was assigned to be over all the cultural programs. I told them I can't do that. I can't do it. I can only do what I know. And I want other cultures to teach me. Okay? So I want to encourage my co-workers, celebrate your culture here at Travis County. We try to do it between 11 and 1. What we have done at Travis County, we're late today, so it's okay. What we have done at Travis County, we have organized SRGs, and I think they're special groups. I respect them, I love them, I participate in them, but I want to encourage you to respect and honor your culture, because that's what our history of America is built on. DEI no longer exists. Do y'all hear me? It's no longer here. I was one of the 500 black students that HEW said, University of Texas, you got to get 500 black children into this school. I graduated with my master's degree from the University of Texas at Austin. I was part of that HEW grant, Health, Education, and Welfare. They were going to take the money from UT if you didn't get 500 black students in there. I was so scared I didn't know what to do. My mama and daddy, I wanted to go to Prairie View, where all my friends were going. Graduated number 2 from Jack Yates Senior High School, heart of the black community. And my mama said, no, you going to UT. I called my mother every single day, every morning before class, every night before class. Then my Professor Brown said that the African American brain was smaller than the average American brain. I turned that school out. And of course, my mother was called. But I made it. My mama said, I want you to go there and shut up and get your education. I don't care what they call you, what they say. I said, no, mama, that ain't gonna work. She said, Melanie, don't let them kick you out of that school, which they almost did. That's not my job. I want to thank everybody for attendance. We've outgrown this room, y'all. Thank you. I'm up here to announce the chili cook-off. There's so much in my heart right now. I'll do that later. Anyway, we did have a chili cook-off. We do it around October when it starts getting cold. And y'all, that's to, don't say it, fundraise, okay? So we can do some, we can buy. We don't have money. We either contribute out of our pockets or we potluck. And I'm tired of potluck. Okay. So we had participants for this chili cook-off. And would y'all hand me the trophy, the chili cook-off trophy, okay? Commissioner, thank you so much. She's such a wonderful spirit. This is that trophy. The participants were Miss Yvonne Flores, Jordan Tyler, Lupita Galvan, San Juana Hernandez, Gabe Stack, and Janine Smith. All of these people are from different departments, okay? It's in HHS and Travis County, because Gabe is now the director of facilities. And Gabe has been in our contest before he was the director. Gabe is, we call him our Gabe, okay? We're proud of him. Now, for two people tied for the most creative chili. Am I correct? And that is Gabe Stack and San Juanita. That was the most creative chili. Now, the chili that, creative chili, okay? The chili that had the best presentation was our own Janine Smith. But y'all will never believe who the winner is. Mr. Gabe Stack. Gabe can cook some chili. Look at him. He just came green, just in case. I think this is Gabe's second or third time winning. The man can cook some chili, y'all. You want to say something? Thank you.
No, it's always an honor to be part of this competition. It's a great charity. We love to be here to earn money, so just appreciate all of you. It's been a long time. I've been involved since the beginning, so I look forward to it every year. So.
I'm telling you. Thank you, Gabe. Now we are down to closing remarks by Melanie and Janine. Come on up, Janine. While she's coming, I want to thank Ola. We put Ola on the spot. And Ola, man, I don't hear you, I can't tell you, but I move that way. But I want to thank you, Ola. I want to thank all of you who have been on the program for the outstanding participation, your willingness. There are some people, Kevin, Dominique is upstairs. They had to help me hold the banners because that banner would only go this high. I said, that's it. They would have to see it waistline, but they came in and they helped me yesterday. What was supposed to be 2 hours ended up all day long. I said, oh Lord, this is not me. But what I want to do right now, I know Janine pushing me. What I want to do is Sabrina, Mauritius, I'm going there in August. I'm going to Africa in August. So I'm going to hit Mauritius if my husband let
Like she really is.
I really am. Paulette, you came back with Amazing Grace. And I want to tell y'all, grace has kept me here thus far, and y'all know it. At Travis County, we've had some good days. We've had some hard days. But it is the amazing grace that keeps me going every day. I love my job. I don't know about y'all, but I love being a community liaison. The relationships, the people I meet, it has just been a blessing. And you are a result of that. So I want y'all to know, it's just like Sheila said, we just made history. Okay, and let's keep the history going. I want to thank the judge. It means a lot for the judge and the commissioners to be here. It really means a lot. I know how busy you are, and I can only imagine the decisions you have to make. Because I was out there with Sandy Creek, okay? And it was a horrifying experience. I wouldn't want to go through it, but I helped. So I know how busy you are. So to come here to say we're just going to recognize these little old folks over here, I thank you for that. Although I was going to call you anyway. Okay? Sheila, I want to thank you. We all do have positive character traits in all of us. And the older I get, I tried to exemplify them. Now, when I was a young one, honey, I tell you where to go, how quick to get there. But that grace shined upon me, and it's a little slower now. So I do appreciate that. My belief is, yes, we can. There's nothing we can't do if we stick together. And we need to do that more in HHS. When you name Ying and Don Train, they are two of my favorite people. Don Train helps me with that money and mileage every week. They tell me, Miss Diggs, you put your address on the mileage. I've been putting it on there 6 years. All of a sudden, you just realize my address is on the mileage? It's confidential. Well, now it's too late. The whole world knows where I live. But Ying has created she is a genius. Ying created a new Travis County emblem for Health and Human Services. Wonderful spirit. And I'm so sorry she's not here. I want to give you some last announcements, and then Janine will take over. She's having a fit up here, but that's too bad.
Wow.
We set up 2 displays. We set up 2 display tables. On the table outside of this one, there's a matching game of Black history. You can each take one. There's an event, Stories and Strudels at ACC. Take that flyer. And the other table is nothing but free pictures. If there's not enough out there, I have 2 boxes full in my office, so let me know. Lunch will be on the 3rd floor. Beautiful dinner for you. I want to thank Minister of Music, Jonathan Tate. This man is extraordinary singing too. He can take us out singing and playing. We have Black History pens out there for $1 if y'all want to buy one. I'm going to turn it over to my partner in crime, Janine. Anything else I missed?
No.
That's how she is.
I know you guys are really hungry, so I'm not gonna give y'all a Melanie style speech. But she says this is her last Black History Day. Y'all remember
It is.
last year when I gave her the plaque? You ain't getting another one. We gave it to you last year.
They gave it to me last year. I love them. I love them.
She's not leaving, but we can act like she is and just say you've done an amazing job. I've been here since 2012, and it was just her just bugging it out every year, and I was like, let me join you in this craziness of doing Black history, and it's become such a labor of love to put this on for you guys. I'm complaining the whole way through until right now when I'm standing on this podium and I look at you guys. I'm so grateful that you took the time to come over, to come from your home, from other offices. We just love to have. We have so many guests here today that took the time out and drove over here, and that's a lot because I don't like driving anywhere in Austin. So we just appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate my partner in crime. I appreciate our speakers, Sabrina. We didn't give a chance to do a huge bio on her, but this woman has been a professor like in 5 different countries or something. We got her. She was one of the set designers for the Harry Potter series, among other movies. Stop and talk to her at lunch. You're gonna be bombarded because I got things. My son would not let me not ask you the questions. But other movies as well. I mean, you look 25, but she has lived. Yeah, Sheila's an author, an authoress, I don't know. She wrote a book. So, these women, I thank you both for taking the time to come. And the music, just beautiful. She almost cried.
I did.
I was fanning her in the face. I know you guys are hungry. The committee, thank you. Thank you to the committee for all your hard work. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. GameStop, I'm coming for you with that chili. I came close, I'm sure. I did not. Presentation's important, and I'm coming for that crown. We've got barbecue on the 3rd floor, so y'all come eat with us. Thank you so much.
We've designed it where you go in one door and you come out the other door, team, okay? Y'all, HHS, please let our guests be served first. Y'all know how to act.
Getting first in line. No, they don't. Getting first in line.
Y'all know. Let our guests
If you
come
see
first.
somebody that work with us, let them ahead of you.
There's Derek McKnight. He was on your video. He's back there in the back.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank y'all. Let's go to third floor.
Selfie.
Get your lunch. Oh, selfie. Oh, Lord, another Black History can't have it. Take place, huh?